Yo, what's up? Hello, hello. You read the title? Let's just jump right in. So first we have Tough. This shit, useless, doesn't look good, no point in it being around. Spawns underground, deep slate, very nice block. You find the cobbled deep slate. You can turn into slabs, stairs, walls. Turn it into 4 like you would stone bricks. Make polished, looks like this. Same thing with stairs. Stone brick it again. You got bricks. One more time, you get tiles. And then you can also make chiseled. Next up are the ores. We've got new textures, same block, and they also have a deep slate texture. So there's the new texture for coal, iron, gold, redstone, emerald, lapis. Diamonds doesn't look too different if they change very much of it at all, but that's the texture, but they do have a deep slate one. Now gold and iron, they've changed it where you can use silk touch to get the ores like how you would usually get them. Otherwise you can use fortune if you want and get more, and they drop raw iron and raw gold instead of the blocks, and then those you can turn into those blocks. But otherwise, melt the raw iron and raw gold, and that's how you get the ingots. Moving on to the caves. Stalagmites, stalactites, they're called dripstone. If you have blocks above them, water or lava, you can farm those now by putting the dripstone underneath it in a cauldron underneath that, and these will fill up. You got these roots, hanging roots. These are kind of tricky to get. Same with this rooted dirt. They only spawn underneath the azalea trees. We'll get to that in a minute. We've got drip leaf, small and large. This is the one you probably have seen that drops when you stand on it, and it'll pop back up. So there's that. Pretty cool, probably useful for parkour and stuff. Moss block, this is the fancy one everybody's in love with. Very nice block. Could be fairly useful. We also have the glow lichen, which I forgot about because it's forgettable. There's nothing really about it. Don't worry about it. Moss blocks, moss carpet, and then the azalea leaves. The azalea trees look like this. They're just called azalea and flowering azalea. These are the leaves from those trees. You can plant them. Either one, doesn't matter which one. Bone meal it. And that's how you get the azalea trees. And you can see there's a rooted dirt underneath that. And then there's not going to be any roots down here because I'm self-made it. But if there were a cave or something, there would be some rooted dirt. Next up, we got the glowberries. These fancy little vines. You can click it, you get the glowberry, and these you just plant like that. And then you can bone meal it to make the berries show up. And then you can plant the glowberries underneath to make them grow faster. We've got the spore blossoms. These I don't think are really attainable right now, but they have this particle effect. Cool flowers on the top. About it. The only place to get the glowberries right now is in a mine shaft, in a chest. You got the wandering traders here. They can trade you small drip leaf, 2 of those for an emerald, or 2 moss blocks for an emerald. Right now that's the only way to get this small drip leaf. And then you can bone meal that to get the big ones. They can spawn up to 5 blocks tall. Moss blocks, emerald, and you can get the shipwrecks. You can find the moss blocks and shipwrecks as well. If you take these moss blocks and you place it down and bone meal it, it will spawn around you grass and tall grass. It will spawn more moss blocks and carpet, and then it'll also spawn the azalea, and that is where you would get those. Moving from that, we have the amethyst. These spawn in geodes underground with this new block, calcite. Calcite surrounds the amethyst, and these are the amethyst blocks that make up the geode. The ones with these X's on them, these are the ones that spawn the amethyst clusters. These, don't break those. You can break these all you want, they're not going to do anything. But don't break these. These are what actually grow it if you wanted to farm or continue growing any amethyst. You can silk touch the clusters to get a cluster like this to place around. Or fortune works on these as well. Otherwise, you just break these normally at full growth, and that's how you get the most out of that. You cannot deconstruct the amethyst blocks, so if you use these, you can't put these in a crafting and get 9 of them like you would an iron block. The crafting, so far, you can use the amethyst shards for 2 things. You can make a spyglass, 2 copper, and a shard. Spyglass, probably seen about it. Basically a little zoom function. Pretty cool. Not super useful, but interesting. And then you also can make tinted glass. This is a big one. So you turn 4 amethyst shards around a glass block, and the tinted glass does not allow light through it, but you can still see through it. So here's normal glass. We have a glowstone in here. Light level doesn't really change. You can still see. But here's a tinted glass. Same setup. Glowstone underneath. Block us in. And now it's dark. So speaking of copper for the spyglass. Copper is a new ore in the game. This is also dripstone block that you find around the dripstones that hang from the ceiling. Copper ore looks like this. They have a deep slate variant. You can use them to make raw deep slate blocks like you can iron and gold. If you take 9 copper ingots, put them together in a crafting table, you get a block of copper, which looks like this. If you place the copper block outside, it'll basically get old and weathered. These are the different stages of it. If you like a particular stage and you want to leave it there, honeycomb it, and it turns it into waxed version of that block. So this would just be a normal block of copper. Take a honeycomb, click it while the block is on the ground. Waxed block of copper. You can also use the copper blocks to make stairs and slabs, and they also have their own version of the weathered, and you can use the same thing to oxidize it with the honeycombs. And the stone cutter can be used to make cut copper, or you can craft it like you would stone bricks, and that is how you get the this cut version that you can use to make stones and stairs, or slabs and stairs. For copper, the spyglass, which we already talked about, and then a lightning rod, which is the new thing with copper. 3 copper, you just saw it happen right there. So basically this gets struck by lightning, lights up, and it does emit a redstone signal as well. Since we just talked about the honeycombs with the copper blocks, they also have another use now. Stick them with a piece of string and a crafting bench, you get a candle. Now the candles look like this normally. You can use dye next to the candle in a crafting and make different dyes. There's all the colors. When they're on the ground, you can click it, similar to the turtle eggs, how it'll stack itself and it'll make up to 4 in a group, essentially. They start unlit, but you can see, take a flint and steel, and it lights them. This also allows you to have birthday cakes now. You can place it on the cakes, and here's a look at all of the different colors. Literally every dye color has a candle, so looks pretty good. Like to see some new lighting always. They do emit light, but it is very, very small amounts of light. You see it does emit light. The different levels also play a factor. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It does change the light level of the candle depending on how many you have. So if you're using this as prime lighting, you want to stack them up. Moving over to the new mobs, we've got the goats. Goats don't drop anything. You can breed them with wheat. Be careful near mountains, because if they punch you, they will do knockback, and they can also jump very, very high. We have the axolotls, which are everybody's favorite. You can breed them with tropical fish, and if you want to get yours in a bucket, you have to have a bucket with already water in it. Go over to the axolotl in the bucket. I'm in creative, so it spawns a new bucket, but it'll fill up your bucket in there now. Last up, we do have the glow squids. I think they're cool. A lot of people don't like them. I mean, they kind of glow. They do emit light, but not very much. They drop ink sacs, the glowing ink sacs. You can use them in a crafting table. Make these glowing item frames which look like this. It doesn't make like the item glow in it or anything, but it does look different and it does kind of glow. And then we also have the new use for them for signs. So if you didn't know, you could use dye on signs, change the color of the letters. And then the ink sacs, now you can use the glowing ink sacs and that'll highlight it and make it basically glow. And you can use that on different colors, whatever you want to do with your signs. And if you don't want it to glow anymore, click it with a normal ink sac and it'll get rid of the glowing effect. Hope that was useful. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, I stream on Twitch sometimes, links in the description. Follow me on Twitter if you want. But that's about it. Thank you for watching. Bye bye. Oh, and I did forget to mention, this is just the first half of this update. Second half is what's going to spawn in the big caves and bigger cliffs, change the height limit, all that good stuff. But as of now, not really any new world generation, just a bunch of new blocks and mobs.